Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, and I am the program manager for the LEAP program. And today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our center, just very briefly. I know most of you are already familiar with our center, and we're going to talk about some Alzheimer's prevention strategies and give you some just simple tips that you can apply immediately to your life to improve your brain health and reduce your Alzheimer's risk or slow cognitive decline. And then we're going to talk about how you can learn more about these. There's only so much we can cover in a short little webinar, and we actually have a lot more resources for you that are completely free. So you can continue to learn more about this topic if you're interested. And yay, more people. All right, so our center, the KU Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, is one of only 33 NIH accredited Alzheimer's disease research centers in the country. So it's a very competitive designation. We have to work really hard every 5 years to renew this. So we're very proud of it. And basically what it means is that we have very high quality research in a variety of different areas. And we offer a lot of resources to our community. And our mission is to improve the lives of patients and families with Alzheimer's disease by eliminating Alzheimer's disease through its treatment and prevention. And just a little brief snapshot of some of the research that we do. We offer studies for individuals both with and without cognitive impairment. We have discovery and innovation studies. So that means where we're just learning about people and following them over a period of time and taking measurements, but not necessarily, there's no medications or changes involved. We're just observing and seeing what happens to learn more about the causes and risk factors for dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So we have those opportunities. We also have investigational medicine trials. So that's where you might take a medication that's being studied for treatment of Alzheimer's disease. We also have exercise and lifestyle intervention studies. So those are, you might start a new exercise program or follow a specific diet to see how it impacts your brain health and to help us learn more about how those interventions can improve our brain health. And then we also have psychosocial interventions, so things related to our mental health and caregiver mental health, things like that. So we have a variety of different study opportunities that are available, and please let us know if you have questions. Our talk today is focused on just healthy lifestyle, so I won't really talk much more about research, but if you have questions on it, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer or help you get to the right person who can answer your questions. So LEAP is one of our major outreach programs that we offer here. It stands for Lifestyle Empowerment for Alzheimer's Prevention. That's the program we're talking about today. And this is actually not research. It is just an educational program that is here as a resource for you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what we cover in this program and then get into some specific things that you can do to improve your brain health. Other resources that we offer at our center include My Alliance for Brain Health, which is a way to stay connected with us. You get weekly emails. We have weekly webinars. In addition to this webinar you're attending today, we also have weekly webinars where you can learn more about all kinds of things. Off the top of my head, we've had presentations on keto diet, our exercise trials, we've socialization in a post-COVID world, so many different presentations. So lots of good resources there. We also offer free support groups and a brain health navigator, who is a person you can talk to help you get connected to the resources you need and understand your diagnosis, things like that. So lots of great resources, and let me know if you need help getting connected to any of those. But today we are focusing on healthy lifestyle, and let's start by just a little bit of background on Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease is the most common type of dementia, and one of the most common questions that we get is, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Dementia is an umbrella term that refers to several different health conditions that cause the symptoms of changes in memory and thinking that interfere with daily life. So there are many different things that can cause dementia, many different types of dementia. So we have vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal dementia, and then Alzheimer's disease is the most common type. And that's the one that we are focusing on today. It affects over 6.5 million Americans, and 1 in 9 over the age of 65 will develop Alzheimer's disease, and 1 in 3 over the age of 85. So it's very common. And every 71 seconds, someone develops Alzheimer's disease. But that is something that we are working to change. And in the last decade or so, we've developed the ability to diagnose accurately and early. And that's really important because the earlier we take action, the more power we have to do something about it. Whether that's improving lifestyle to slow decline, or helping, prepare our loved ones, whatever it might be, the earlier we can get a diagnosis, the better. And some research is pointing to the fact that there are brain changes that actually start long before symptoms begin. So as early as our 30s and 40s, those brain changes may start. And so the earlier we can discover that and do something about it, the better, and the more power we have. So that's what a lot of our research focuses on, but we are able to diagnose accurately and early, much earlier than we used to be able to. Some common medical risk factors for Alzheimer's include heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression or anxiety, sleep apnea, and traumatic brain injury. So these are all things that may increase our risk, but they don't determine our risk. So most of them we can manage by working together with our doctor, by making healthy lifestyle changes. We can do things to minimize the impact that these have on our long-term risk. So the more proactive we can be here, the better. In the future, we hope to, like I mentioned, diagnose before the onset of symptoms, halt or reverse the disease process, and completely prevent or delay the onset of the disease. And we're going to talk about ways that you can reduce risk, slow progression, and delay onset here today. So the goal of this program, the Lifestyle Empowerment for Alzheimer's Prevention, or LEAP program, is to translate all of these incredible biomedical research findings that we're discovering both in studies in our center as well as other research institutes around the world. We want to translate those into everyday strategies so that you can apply them to your life today and be current with the most up-to-date research and the most effective ways to improve your brain health. So we have evidence-based brain health strategies that are a part of this program that we teach, and it includes interactive and self-paced online education. So this webinar is kind of an introduction to the different opportunities that we have here, but we offer 2 major classes, and I'll tell you more about these later, but one of them is Brain Health Bootcamp, which is 6 weeks long. The other one is our Mediterranean Diet course, which is 4 weeks long. We also have another webinar coming up that you're welcome to sign up for as well, and I'll tell you more about that. And then we have our LEAP Brain Power Blueprints, which is our book. Some of you may have it already, but it's about 160 pages and just goes over the foundations of all of the healthy lifestyle strategies that we talk about in much more detail than what we have time to cover this afternoon. So some things you can do to reduce your risk. And we're going to cover each of these in more detail. Physical activity and exercise, healthy diet, social connection, staying mentally engaged, stress management, and sleep are all very important healthy lifestyle factors that can influence your risk. So let's start with physical activity. It's important to differentiate physical activity from exercise. So we actually split these into two separate, even though they seem very similar, and there is some overlap. But physical activity is our movement throughout the day. We know that there are a lot of risks associated with sedentary behavior or prolonged sitting. So for example, what we're all doing right now, sitting in front of a computer, watching a webinar, that is a sedentary activity. And a lot of us, our days are mostly full of sedentary activities. And that actually is associated with a lot of increased health risks, everything from heart disease to diabetes, depression, and including Alzheimer's disease. And so what we want to do is make sure that we are breaking up our sedentary time and getting more just general movement throughout the day. So things like walking your dog, vacuuming your house, going to the grocery store, gardening, those just regular tasks that you do on a daily basis that involve physical movement. Those things are really important to incorporate throughout our day. Ideally, we want to get up and move around every 20 to 30 minutes during periods of prolonged sitting. So ideally, in about a little over 5 minutes, you all might stand up and move around a little bit. And I won't judge you if you turn your camera off or leave it on and get up and move around too, but that would be ideal. If that feels difficult to make that a habit to get up and move every 20 to 30 minutes, you could start with an hour, depending on what your activities look like. Start small and increase from there. But the best way to remember to do it is to set an alarm or a kitchen timer or something like that that will remind you to get up, because without that reminder, often will forget. So physical activity is very important, but it is not the same as exercise. And exercise is our workout. So think activity that we're doing that is planned or structured for the purpose of improving physical fitness. So aerobic exercise, like brisk walking or swimming, strength training, so squats or lifting weights or other body weight exercises, things like that are intended to improve our muscle strength. Our workouts do not replace our physical activity. So that's where that differentiation is important. We want both. We want to get that movement throughout the day, and we also want to have a regular workout that is improving our fitness. So making our heart and lungs stronger and more efficient, building our muscle strength and muscle mass, improving our flexibility, and improving our balance. All of those things are very important for both our overall health and our brain health. For aerobic exercise, we want to aim for 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic exercise. And aerobic is the type of exercise that has the strongest correlation with improvements in cognition. So studies have shown a pretty direct link with increased cardiorespiratory fitness, more aerobic exercise, increasing our aerobic exercise to improvements in cognition, both for individuals with and without cognitive changes. So aerobic exercise is a really important one, but don't neglect the other types, because the strength training, balance, and flexibility exercises are all crucial for maintaining our ability to perform aerobic exercise along with our just everyday tasks. Our muscles are kind of a use it or lose it situation. They are expensive for our body to maintain from an energy standpoint. And if they're not being used, our body's going to say, oh, well, I guess I don't need that anymore. And our muscles will shrink. But we don't want that for a variety of reasons. Of course, we don't want to become weaker, but our muscles also help burn off excess energy, and which is important for blood sugar regulation. So having stronger muscles that are more active helps us to have a healthier metabolism. And because poor blood sugar regulation and diabetes are significant risk factors for Alzheimer's, that matters. We want to make sure that we have strong, active muscles. So simple change that you could do today would be to begin walking, do a short brisk walk. Of course, today the weather is kind of yucky and it's all, if you're in Kansas City, we got a nice little snow last night. So there's slush on the ground and it's kind of cold, but put your boots on, put your coat on, get out there and go for a walk. And that is a great way to benefit your brain health today. We get benefit from movement, period. But if you want the aerobic exercise benefit, we want to walk briskly enough to elevate our heart rate and our breathing rate just a little bit to where we can talk but not sing. So you couldn't give a speech, you couldn't teach this class that I'm teaching right now, and you couldn't sing, but you could have a back and forth conversation with somebody where you have the opportunity to catch your breath a little bit. So that would be one way that you could get started today. Sleep and stress are also very important topics, and I combined them on one slide here, but they're very important. They each deserve their own slide, truly. Poor sleep and chronic stress both increase our risk of pretty much every health condition we might be concerned about, Alzheimer's included. And there are actually a surprising number of things that we can do to improve our sleep, in particular through sleep hygiene. And what I mean by sleep hygiene is just those habits that we have with surrounding our bedtime routine and our morning routine in particular that help to promote good sleep. So poor sleep hygiene, for example, would be a highly variable bedtime. Sometimes you go to bed at 10, sometimes you go to bed at 2 a.m. Maybe you're, drinking a lot before bed or exercising before bed. That would be an example of not so great sleep hygiene. Good sleep hygiene includes having a very consistent schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time every morning, having a relaxing bedtime routine, doing things that help promote a healthy circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is also known as our sleep-wake cycle, influenced by a whole bunch of different things, including when we eat and when we fast, when we're exposed to sunlight or light from screens. There are a lot of different things that affect that, but we want to have create habits that help us to promote a healthy circadian rhythm. So go to bed and get up at the same time every day. That's step number one. And then avoid anything that could be stimulating at night, including screens, because screens or even other, bright lights that we might have in our home emit blue light, which suppresses melatonin production. Melatonin is the hormone that helps us to fall asleep. And so watching TV, looking at our phones, tablets, computers, any of that can actually impair our sleep quality. So that is one thing that can be simple, although maybe not easy to get started on to reduce our blue light exposure in the evening, particularly the hour before bedtime. Stress management is crucial and also very challenging. Exercise is something that can help with stress management, but we also want to make sure that we are prioritizing rest, making sure that we have time to recharge, protect our mental health. Stress management practices like meditation and deep breathing can be very helpful. Progressive muscle relaxation is another one. There are 1,000 different ways that we can manage our stress, but it should be a very high priority because it has a very significant impact on our health risk. And often it gets neglected. So that's a really important one. Social and cognitive engagement are also important. And admittedly, the research on these two topics is not as robust as it is several of the other topics. We have a lot of research on nutrition and exercise, a lot of research on sleep and stress management. And we have some, but not quite as much research on social and cognitive engagement. They're very interesting topics. We know that social isolation is associated with increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. And we know that social connection is associated with better overall health and better brain health. And that social connection can look different for everyone, but there are benefits to both group interactions and close personal relationships where we are supported by and valued by and can provide support to other people in our lives. So those really close relationships are important, but group interactions are helpful as well. Cognitive engagement or intellectual engagement, keeping our minds and our brains stimulated is also important. A lot of people enjoy doing things like puzzles and brain teasers and brain games. Those things aren't bad, but they're not necessarily the best use of our time if time is short. There are other ways that we can stimulate our brain more effectively, simply exposing ourselves to novel situations and variety, going to new places, trying new things. Those can all be really great ways to get cognitive stimulation, and then learning new skills is also thought to be very helpful. So not just learning new information like you might if you were watching a documentary or reading a nonfiction book. Those things are great, but we can stimulate our brain even more by learning new skills. So learning and applying new information where we have to practice something and get better at it. That's a great way to stimulate our minds. But the bottom line is that we just want to make sure that our minds are challenged regularly, and that's going to look different for everybody at different stages of life. All right, healthy eating. This is my area of expertise as a dietitian. One of my favorite things to talk about. We teach the Mediterranean diet here at the ADRC as a part of our programs. We have a whole course on the Mediterranean diet as well. But the basic gist of it is that it is a whole foods focused diet that really emphasizes vegetables and fruits, whole grains instead of refined grains, healthy fats, lean protein and low fat dairy, seasonal and sustainable foods, and limiting processed foods and sugar. And 3 key concepts that we teach as a part of this diet are number 1, nutrient density. So we want to make sure we're getting lots of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients in our food. 2, low glycemic eating, high glycemic diets, high sugar diets. Well, Mike, we're hearing some background noise. I'm gonna mute you really quick. Or no, Rosie, you might have to do it. I think you're I don't think I have muting powers.
Yeah, just a second.
Thank you. So low glycemic eating is very important for brain health because poor blood sugar regulation and diabetes increase our risk for Alzheimer's disease. There have been several studies showing that a high glycemic diet, so one that promotes lots of highs and lows in our blood sugar, that increases our risk for developing Alzheimer's and can speed progression of Alzheimer's. So we want to have a low glycemic diet, which is one that promotes nice, stable, steady blood sugar. The third thing that is very important to remember is healthy fats. And we spend a lot of time covering this in more depth in our Mediterranean diet class, but olive oil in particular, as well as nuts and seeds and fish are healthy fats that are very important on the Mediterranean diet. And we want to make sure that we're choosing healthy fats over unhealthy fats. This is our LEAP plate model. So it's just a helpful visual to give you an idea of what we're aiming for. This, I realize for a lot of people, the idea of eating half a plate of vegetables does not feel very realistic. You do not have to start there. Any vegetables that you eat are a good thing. So start small and increase gradually. Our ultimate goal is about half a plate and at least 2 meals per day of non-starchy vegetables, about a quarter of a plate of starch or fruit, and then about a quarter of a plate of our protein with a little bit of fat included at each meal. We want to make sure that all of those components are there at the vast majority of our meals. Okay, so those are some just quick ways that you can improve your brain health. We cover these in a lot more detail in our courses. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our courses and opportunities to learn more, and then we'll open it up for question and answer time. And it looks like I went pretty fast, so we've got plenty of time. Okay, so our brain health highlights are the next classes that we have coming up. So these are completely free. Every time we offer one, we talk about just a fun, exciting brain health topic, new research, things that we don't go in depth on in our other courses. So neuroplasticity, the mind-body connection, antioxidants and brain health, things like that are topics that we will cover in these brain health highlights. Our next one is December 6th at noon. And the topic is neuroplasticity, rewire your brain at any age. It's a really fun topic taught by our program assistant, Rosie, and she has expertise in cognitive science and she does a great job. So it's going to be a really fun brain health highlight. So sign up for that if you are interested, and we'll get you the sign up information. Our next class after that is our Mediterranean diet course, which will start in January, on January 10th. And that one is 4 weeks long. And it includes live Zoom sessions every week. We talk about the Mediterranean diet, building brain healthy meals. We really get into a lot of depth on how to apply it. And then every week there's a substantial amount of question and answer time. So you have plenty of time to ask questions and learn how to apply it to your life. We also have videos, worksheets, tons and tons of recipes and resources, checklists, meal building guides, all kinds of things for you that are available to download inside our online course. It's free and open to anyone. So let us know if you're interested. Everybody who attends today will get an email with sign-up information for these courses if you're interested in taking them. So you'll be able to sign up that way. But that one starts January 10th. And then our next Brain Health Boot Camp, which covers all of the topics we talked about today. It's 6 weeks long. So we spend about 1 week per topic. There are a couple that we double up on, but on average, it's about 1 week per topic. And again, videos, resources, worksheets, recipes. In this course, there's a lot of emphasis on applying what we talk about to your life. So we actually have extended Q&A time and support as a group. So it's very interactive, and we try to be available to provide tips and support on how you can apply these things to your life. The Brain Power Blueprint that I showed you earlier, this book goes along with that course. So if you like, you can purchase it to follow along. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can watch the videos, and they cover the core information that you need to know. But the book is definitely a great resource if you like to have something in print. And this one is also free, and it starts on February 13th. So you can sign up by going to this URL here, but we're also going to send you an email with the link. So don't worry about writing this down or remembering it, because we will email you. You'll have all that information. You are welcome to email us if you have any questions, any concerns, anything we can help you with. Just send us an email and we will get you taken care of. But let's go ahead and open it up for question and answer time. And this is scheduled until 1, so I'm happy to stay as long as you need if anybody has questions.
You mentioned a program starting February 13th. What time?
That's a good question. I think that one is at 1 o'clock, but I will double check.
Do I have the date right as February 13th?
Yes.
And what's it called, Rachel?
That one's Brain Health Boot Camp.
Okay.
You've done that one, Amy.
Obviously, my brain needs help. I'm not remembering.
Yes, but we are working on some updates, so there may be some fun, fresh, new, exciting content when you take it in February. Yes, so Brain Health Boot Camp is February 13th at 1 p.m. and that will be 6 weeks, so it'll be every Monday for 6 weeks at 1 p.m.
I have a question. Do you guys ever have you thought about setting up your testing programs at like the KU Center in Wichita or anything like that, so more people could participate in those research projects?
We do have a handful of studies that have recently started enrolling for Wichita participants. I do not know which studies those are, but that's a relatively recent change. So I could find out if you're in Wichita and want to know what your study opportunities are there.
I would like that. I've gotten the information, about Kansas City, but it's just too hard, to go up there to do that. And I would love to participate with that.
Okay, yeah. How long ago did you talk to the recruitment team about the Kansas City?
It's just been a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So, but they didn't mention anything about Wichita, and I just didn't realize that you guys did that. So that'd be wonderful if.
Yeah, well, I know that it's pretty new, so it's possible that, it's only 1 or 2 studies and perhaps you weren't eligible for those, or it's possible that they haven't actually started enrolling for the Wichita opportunities yet. So I'll ask them to check on that and get in touch with you and let you know. I'm not super up to date on the, all of the little details.
That's great. I'm in touch. I can't remember the gal's name, but we've touched base a few times. So okay. I'm happy to reach out to her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, either way. Okay, what other questions do y'all have?
I'm wondering how many of your classes are in person versus how many are online?
Right now, all of them are online. We're hoping in next year to start offering some in-person classes, but we haven't scheduled any yet. So at the moment, they're all online.
All of them are online. That's great.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Yes.
And did you say, convenient. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely. And the LEAP book is available through one of the classes that you mentioned. Is that how you get that book?
You can get that book whether you take the class or not.
Okay.
The easiest way to get it is to order on Amazon, and we can send you the link for that.
Okay.
Amazon's kind of funky and it's a little hard to find on there, but we can send you the link for that if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. And you can also, if you're local, you can also get it at our center. You just have to let us know so we can schedule and make sure and have it available for you.
Okay. And your center is where exactly?
Fairway, Kansas. So it's right off of Shawnee Mission Parkway and close to Roe. Roe doesn't actually intersect, but it's close by.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Nope, I appreciate you guys doing this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, definitely. It was a great overview here.
Yeah, you're
Thank you all
welcome.
are doing great work.
Thank you.
How big is your staff?
Well, our staff for this program is me and Rosie.
Uh-huh.
Our
Okay.
staff for the entire center, including our basic science, so think like microscopes and things like that, is about 100 people.
Oh my. Okay.
And we have we're spread across 3 different buildings. So we've got 2 buildings on Shawnee Mission Parkway, and then one at the main KU Medical Center campus is where our basic scientists do their,
Oh, sure.
I don't know why they call it basic science. It's such a silly, it's not basic at all, but that's where they do the stuff with the microscopes and the cells and the fancy things that I'm not a part of.
Yeah, sure. I would last a day in that field. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it's definitely very complicated.
Yes.
Rosie shared the link to the textbook in the chat if anybody wants that. I
Okay,
also
thank
wanted
you.
to mention, I showed you this one, just so you know, if you buy it on Amazon, it doesn't have this spiral binding.
Oh,
It's more of a regular paperback, if that makes sense, with the regular binding. So just a heads up, if you really like the spiral binding, we can get that to you from our center, but the Amazon version does not have that.
okay. All right, great. And would we call you, Rachel, to pick it up, or is there someone else that we would call to pick up a copy at your place?
The easiest way would be to email me, and then we can coordinate. Since Rosie and I both work from home, we just have to make sure we
Oh,
coordinate when we're going to be in the office and meet up with you. And then sometimes one of our coworkers might be able to meet up with you and get it. We can also mail it to you.
okay. Great. That
Yeah.
sounds good. Okay, thank you.
So our
Sounds-
email address, if you want to email us if you have any questions about that or want to coordinate getting a book, is kuadrcleap@kumc.edu. I put that in the chat as well.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's the same email that our all of the reminders like for this webinar came from too. So if you reply to those emails, you'll catch us that way as well.
Okay. That just sounds like a great resource. That
Mhm.
book. Yeah.
Yep,
it does.
we like it. We worked hard to make it a great resource.
So did you two put it together?
I helped put it together. So we started creating it about 7 years ago, I think, and collaborated with experts in each field. So a sleep researcher, psychology, exercise physiologists, the doctors that work in the center, and collaborated as a group to put all of the material together. And then I edited it and
Wow,
and put all of that together. That was before Rosie worked with us.
that's excellent. Good for you. I don't think I have any other questions right now.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you
Shirley,
very
thank
much. That was
you.
excellent.
You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank Rosie and Rachel. You guys make like those emails so user friendly. I'm so technologically inept, and you say, if you want to join here, push this button, and it's just clear and concise, and you guys are very professional and thorough. So that's why I keep signing back up. So I'd recommend it to all. You'll always get something good out of it. If not, even for the socialization, right?
Yep. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
We
That's
love
great.
having you.
Thanks.
Shirley says Leapbook's great. Yes, Shirley, it's nice to see you. Shirley remembers the very first version of the Leapbook.
And it is quite, I've read it almost 2 times now, and it is really fantastic.
Oh, great.
Everything that you would need to know is in there, and it's done beautifully. So I really, it's a treasure for me.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, we can go ahead and wrap up. I know we finished a little bit early, but
I do have one more. Are any of the participants from Wichita?
in the yes,
No.
there are. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which ones, but I know we have participants from all over
Okay,
Kansas.
no, I meant any participants on this Zoom meeting, on this Zoom call.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know. Is
Oh.
anybody here from Wichita?
Oh,
Okay, all right, just thought I'd ask, thank you.
sure.
Can you tell us how much the Leap book costs? There was such good reviews on it.
Yeah, it's $30 or $29.99 if you get it on Amazon. I don't know why there's any difference, but yes, $30.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, check your email for follow-up after our meeting today. We'll have the recording in case you'd like to watch it again, as well as information on how to sign up for our upcoming classes. We hope to see you all at our next few classes. We don't normally have such a long gap before there's another series. We just have a little break for the holidays. So we'll have our December 6th brain health highlight. Then we'll have the Mediterranean diet class in January and brain health boot camp in February. And you are all welcome to every single one of them if you would like to attend. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
Great, thank you.
And
Welcome.
thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay, bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.